This new winter storm system could dump between 6 to 12 inches of snow from West Virginia to Massachusetts, along with freezing rain and sleet.
This will be a disruptive storm to travelers and to property owners, as we'll see a significant buildup of snow and ice.
The storm system pushing through the East Coast by Thursday evening, with much of the I-95 corridor seeing several inches of accumulating snowfall.
Here in Virginia, along the West Virginia border, the big issue contributing to treacherous roads and potential power outages is the temperature. It's expected to stay in the 20s all day, so any snow and ice that falls is sticking around, potentially compacting and weighing down limbs and power lines.
Meanwhile, in Texas, nearly 3 million people already struggling with record-breaking freezing temperatures and snow from an earlier Arctic blast are still in the dark and bracing for more frigid temps.
This is tragic. We hadn't had power since 5 a.m. yesterday.
From icicles hanging from apartment ceiling fans in Dallas to homeowners and businesses forced to cope with bursting water pipes, Texans are getting creative to keep warm.
You'll see a blanket here and blue Scotch tape. We're doing anything possible to keep the heat in.
The CEO of the company that manages 90% of the electric power in Texas is warning residents to prepare for more rolling power outages to avoid what he calls a catastrophic blackout.
We had to reduce the demand to get the supply and demand back in balance.
As millions in Texas shiver for the fourth day without power following back-to-back winter storms, some in the Lone Star State want to know how America's most energy-rich state couldn't keep the lights and heat on in the face of a record winter freeze. The state's governor calling for an investigation into ERCOT's failure to keep the power on.
ERCOT stands for Electric Reliability Council of Texas, and they showed that they were not reliable.
Natural gas, oil, nuclear, solar, and wind, all these energy sources apparently freezing up in the unprecedented winter event.
Texas is an area that doesn't safeguard against extreme cold temperature risks like we typically see in places like the Northeast or Wisconsin or Minnesota.
Supporters of fossil fuels say the fact that half the wind turbines in the state froze shows the limits of alternative energy sources.
This shows how the Green New Deal would be a deadly deal for the United States of America.
But Clint Woods with Americans for Prosperity says the Texas outages illustrates why it's important to have diverse sources of energy.
When consumers vote with their dollars, they tend to prefer affordable, low-cost, reliable, and usually pretty dense energy that doesn't require an enormous amount of land. So that often is a mix of energy sources.
Meanwhile, Operation Blessing, working with partners in Texas, is set to deliver bottled water, blankets, and other relief supplies to the folks in the cities of Dallas and Cleveland. George Thomas, CBN News.